Clubs of America, leading out on the MyFuture team, and love to see, and when I've gone to any staff trainings or other webinars, I think you guys perfectly represent our clubs and where everybody is with MyFuture. Is some folks have never even heard of it, to those who are even greater experts than I am. So so really excited to talk through with you today. And what I'm going to get started with is really just what MyFuture is, the basics, how we are recommending as program staff and club staff, you can quickly get started. The great thing about MyFuture, as in best practices for any digital platform, is we are constantly improving and evolving the site. So I will talk you through those 3 quick steps, and then we'll take you actually into the site itself, and I'll log in as a staff person and actually demonstrate how to actually do some of these things so that you have that as a takeaway after today. I also want to make sure this is being recorded, but also you'll get some links to ways that you can engage with either me or other members of the MyFuture team. And just know we have a small but mighty team at Boys and Girls Clubs of America that's here to support you. Whether you need trainings or one-on-one consultations or technical assistance with MyFuture, today is not the only day. We are always here for you. So just do reach out in the future if you need help with anything you hear about today. So as a brief intro for those who really are just getting to know MyFuture, what it is, it's a web platform that BGCA has developed that is really intended to enable club members and club staff to be able to engage with BGCA quality program content and high yield activities wherever they are, in the club, at home, after school. So really giving that access at any time and any place to BGCA programs and activities. And then in the best possible spirit of youth development, we've ensured that embedded in everything, there is the opportunity for youth to earn recognition. As Chrissy mentioned, they can earn badges along the way. As they're developing their skills, they get that recognition. Youth can also save their projects. They can share those with their club staff, but also with their peers and families and friends at home. So really, again, getting that opportunity to showcase what they're accomplishing. And then for you all as staff in the club, and I think what's really, to me, one of the most exciting things from a club staff perspective is it gives you a line of sight into what your youth are really interested in. Yes, you can assign activities to your youth and teens, but youth can also self-select on their own time. So you can really follow along with, this is where my youth are interested in learning and developing skills. You really have that for the individual or a group perspective on program, and in a way that we don't have in a lot of other ways to track what youth are interested in our programs. Oh, next slide, please. Thank you. So again, just touching on what are those benefits. So really looking at what MyFuture provides for you all as club staff. So again, that focus on youth voice. I think that's also really, as we're always continuing to develop new content and activities, is ensuring that there's that youth interest and youth voice first and foremost. What's also really cool, and I'm going to walk you guys through this in a little bit, is that now you have the ability as club staff to actually add activities to MyFuture yourself. So we at BGCA, there are 14 program areas, there are almost 400 activities that are BGCA provided. However, if there's a particular subject matter or activity that your youth really respond to, you have the ability to create and add that activity to your staff dashboard. It will be accessible just within your organization. But again, it gives you that flexibility to be really responsive to youth voice. Second thing, and I want to emphasize this has really been a big message on our part, is really, this is a BGCA developed platform, and safety is first and foremost in mind. So when we walk through the staff dashboard, you'll see that there are ways as staff that you can track and see what your youth are completing and engaged in. Nobody else has that line of sight or access, right? So it is as if your youth are in the walls of your Boys and Girls Club when they are in the MyFuture environment. So it provides that level of safety. And I know that that's certainly something as staff, but also families. It's really important that we share that message, because that can be a concern for parents and caregivers as youth are doing more and more online. Again, there's that access to real-time youth data. So I think for you and the leaders in your club organization, you know, when you're talking to funders, talking to stakeholders in your community, it gives you real data of what your youth are participating in and learning and developing, you know, in these different program areas. And then finally, there's access to free content and world-class experiences that really can provide an opportunity, especially now as we are coming out, or hopefully coming out of a pandemic, but looking at virtually being able to experience things that otherwise, you know, in person are just not possible, or due to safety, due to COVID, you know, are no longer a possibility too. I'll give you an example of one of our experiences. Is you can actually go on a tour and experience the Smithsonian on MyFuture. So a great example of something, you know, cost-wise, most youth are not going to be able to get on a plane and fly and go tour the Smithsonian. So how do we bring that experience to the youth and our clubs? And MyFuture is the way that we can do that. So again, looking at really always listening, and also your feedback is super helpful. So after today, as you dive into MyFuture more, please share with us your feedback, because again, in the interest of simplifying, making it easier, more accessible, more flexible for you as the staff, because you are our direct, you know, frontline to the youth and teens, how can we do that? So again, really breaking it down into some ways that can make it easier for you. Again, after today, we have on a bi-monthly basis, we have MyFuture club staff trainings. Those links will be shared in today's presentation, but for you or other staff members in your organization, this is a standing webinar that you can join that really goes through in depth and also provides the opportunity for your staff to ask questions with one of our tech experts. Second thing I want to, and we'll go into this in a little bit, is building that strong membership base in your club community is really that first step in getting onto MyFuture. So what we have done is made that easier than ever, where you can bulk register your club members at one time. So instead of having to add one, you know, individually and approve them individually, all it takes is a template that BGCA has provided for you to upload your youth data, and then you can add them all into MyFuture at one time. You then have a MyFuture community that you as staff can immediately engage with through activities. And again, that's where, as staff members, that's step 3, just getting onto the platform, logging in. All you need is a bgca.net account. You can log in and just start exploring. Again, almost 400 activities, 14 different program areas, and just starting to see the many things that the site offers. You'll see when we go into the staff dashboard, there's a whole resources page for staff that really gives you videos on how to do different things, a quick start guide, a technology assessment, so you can really see, does my club have the infrastructure needed to really use MyFuture to the best possible ability, or do we need to revisit some of that? And then just getting started. So once you've got that membership base, you as staff have logged in, it's how do you drive that engagement? You can create contests and events for your own club organization. You can assign activities to your youth, either as individuals or groups. So just getting started by using it a little bit every day and building up on that so that it really becomes integrated in your club programming. So again, and I'm going to go into this because it's one thing to see it written down, it's another thing to see it live. So when I get through the slides, I'll share this with you in live time. But again, that strong MyFuture membership base. I want to point out that you know, there are the 2 options, and you'll see this. You can add individuals one at a time as club members, but again, the bulk member registration is a great way to just get started. And so there are 3 quick steps to doing that, and I'll show that to you in just a little bit. But if you want a little bit more in-depth that's focused on bulk registration, and if you also just want to have fun and win prizes, because we have found that, you know, making it a little competitive can be fun too. So we are now hosting these bulk member registration parties. We have 4 in the month of August, 3 in September, and 2 in October, really focusing on how we can support you guys as club staff getting ready for back to school, like knowing this is a really crucial time. So again, helping you get that strong membership base is your first step. So certainly encourage you all. We'll demo it today, but these parties, you'll actually be able to come in with your youth data and be able to register your members at one time in the parties. And again, you can win prizes along the way. So again, talking about logging on to the MyFuture staff platform, first of all, I even hesitate to say log on because it really is just going to the site with your bgca.net account. But just certainly take a look, and we'll walk through this a little bit, but on your own time, I encourage you not just to look through the platform, but to look through that staff resources section. Chrissy already referenced, you know, their program basics planners. We have our 2021 summer planning guide. All of those are linked as resources in that staff dashboard. And even though we are moving from summer to back to school, which just doesn't seem possible since we're still in the month of July, but I think there's some really important information and tips in that summer planning guide, because we have really started to focus on, as clubs are moving towards more hybrid programming models, how you can use MyFuture both in person in your programming, so your youth don't even have to be on a computer screen, right? If your youth have come from school and they've been online all day, it provides you the opportunity as staff to access all of the activity information, prepare for it, download it, and run MyFuture as an in-person activity. Or you can also look at how you will digitally engage your youth in MyFuture online on a computer or a tablet. So the summer planning guide is a great resource for that, for you to really look at it from those different perspectives and meet your needs wherever you are in your delivery of your programming. Again, you know, one of the biggest things we hear from staff is just that appreciation for the diversity of the content on MyFuture. So certainly, again, encourage you to explore that. Then once you're a bit familiar with the different activities, to again know, and we'll share with you how you can assign activities to individuals or groups, how you can create activities for your club. And then really you can look at, again, is it something that you are using as kind of a standalone program, this MyFuture time with your MyFuture activities and assignments? Or if, you know, for example, you're running an arts program, if you look at assigning 1 or 2 activities or participating in those activities during your arts program session. So looking at it as a flexible approach in either way. And again, this is just quick hits to the links to the summer planning guide, getting started. And then I also just, you know, want to reemphasize the, you know, we start with fun as our first and foremost priority, but then also that safety, really reiterate that. The flexibility, not just flexibility for you as club staff. I've already gone into a little bit of how you can use it both in person or for virtual programming, but flexibility for your youth. And again, that can be the time of day that they access it, where they are, but also in terms of devices. MyFuture is accessible on any type of device. So it's not limited to your youth just being in the tech lab in the club, right? So that there are, you know, the abilities on tablets and other devices that they can access those activities. And then it's free. And so really looking at, you know, your youth and you all having access, and easy and quick access, again, to these high yield activities, just at, you know, the touch of a finger, it's right there. Okay, and then we're going to jump into new features. So this is where I am actually, instead of going through the slides, going to start walking us through. So I am going to share my screen. see if I can manage this. Okay. So again, this is the staff, the first place that you would see as a, oops, sorry about that, as a staff member to access the staff dashboard. Hopefully I'm already logged in, so it should be easy. Okay, great. So this is what the staff dashboard will look like for you. And I will share with you, I've shared this with Chrissy as my co-facilitator, because we are always continuously improving MyFuture. Today, we have actually relaunched the staff landing page. It is even newer and more improved than ever before. So if I seem like I'm figuring a few things out along the way, it's because I am also, today is the first day we have launched it. But again, that is what you'll see as you start using MyFuture regularly, is that we are always evolving and improving the site and making it easier and more relevant for you and your youth and teens. Okay, so we're going to start with member management. So again, I'm going to walk us through just the quick steps of getting started for club staff. I want to reiterate that that staff login page, super easy. It's your bgca.net account and your password for that. That'll take you right to this page. So if we go to the left-hand column for member management, click on that. And if you look at members, click on this. And then you'll see at the top right, a button to add members. And this is where, again, looking at making it easier for you as staff to make MyFuture accessible to your club members, we really encourage that bulk upload, which would be the second option on adding members. Now, what I do want to point out, so and this is where we're always here to provide help, but where it will expedite the process for you significantly is to look at downloading this template first and exporting into this your youth data, but only in the columns that are in this template. So, you know, we know lots of clubs collect different data in different ways. And so what you would do is you would just look at including the information here and not adding anything more. So for example, and then some clubs do not, and we had this recently, clubs did not have their birth month or year for their members. So we just looked at adding a base January in 2008. It's something you can go back in and edit at a later date, but you would just look, you can look at just setting January and a year and adding that for all of your youth to go ahead and get them uploaded. Gender, and then the password can be whatever you want it to be. So you can just make up MyFuture 1. So you would just import your data, make sure it's cleaned up, save this, and then you can add it directly when you do the bulk upload. Actually, and I should have saved that because then that would have allowed me. So once you hit select file, it will actually then generate members into the account. So for example, you would see for each of your club members, the names such as you see here, and then it'll have pending approval. And with the bulk registration capability, you can approve all of them at one time. Again, I want to reiterate, because I feel like in the interest of time, we have to do quick hits on each of these sections of MyFuture. So again, if you want to do that deeper dive, I encourage you to sign up for the bulk registration party for member registration, or to attend a club training or a consultation when we get to the activities, just so that you can have really that more in-depth conversation focused on that one particular topic. So the second thing, so again, there's that getting started with your member, with your club members. So that we just walked through of doing the bulk membership. The second thing was for you as staff to get started on MyFuture. And one of the things that I want to share with you all, let me actually with a different screen. So again, in looking at how we've simplified the staff landing page. So if you go to myfuture.net/staff, it really walks you through how do I get started, right? So again, we have our quick start guide. You can log in and register for our live trainings each month. How do you explore MyFuture activities? Identify the program content you would like to run and plan it with your club experience. So then you can go and you can search for different activities. So this is an example of, we have such a range of activities that you can look and search through according to the different program areas. You can look through contests. You can also search through your different age groups. So really, this is that opportunity for you as the club staff to start to explore and experience MyFuture activities. In those activities, it will always identify the supplies that are needed. So that really helps you prepare and plan in advance. We've already gone through creating member accounts and then running your activities, which we'll go through in a minute. But again, looking at how I can take it further, how do I get help? These are the resources for you to be able to access at any time and then to reach out and request even more help from BGCA. If you need help with your specific programming, your planning, your topic area. All right, so what I'm gonna do is now take us back so that we can look at how to create activities and how to assign activities. Let me go back to one quick second. Sorry, I got to switch the screen again, but we'll look at getting. Okay. Had too many things open at one time. So, all right, looking at how you can create your own activities as a club staff. So if you, again, you're logged in, and then if you look at this home page, down on the left side in the column, you'll see activities. Now underneath that, it's create new activities. You'll go up, same as with the member registration, upper right corner, click on this tab to create an activity. And this will guide you step by step through the process of creating an activity that, again, will be housed for your club organization's dashboard. So this is not accessible to all clubs. That's a question that we've received a lot from staff. So just want to share with you that this is just for your club organization and will be added to the activities that you have access to and your staff do in your club. So again, when you're creating the new activity, it's going to ask you these questions just for general information. So if you're going to select the core program area, you're going to select education. Let's say it's a back to school. Type your activity name, your activity description. You can add an image here. And again, giving you these options so that you select from the list. So what are the different things that you're going to choose that, are attributes for this particular activity? So we're going to look at, let's say education. We're going to make this one for teens, let's say, and let's see what else in STEM. So you can make those different 3 items selected so that, again, when you're searching, they will be underneath those different search categories. For skills, you would add the different skills that you're going to learn, your youth are going to learn by participating in this activity. Does it have a sponsor? So that would be if you have a funder supporting this activity. So you can look at adding that information, adding a sponsor image or a logo. You can also hit no and just move right on past that if that doesn't apply to your activity. In terms of items needed, so we have a list of items here provided, but you can also add new items if what you need is not on the list. Again, the idea is that for club staff, you have the ability to prepare well in advance so that you know everything that you need. So if you need to edit the list, you can add a new requirement name, save it so that you've got whatever you need or your staff need to conduct that activity. Same with the resources, where you can link to different resources that staff might need to prepare for this activity. And then you can save a draft so you don't have to finish it right away. And then when you're ready, you can actually submit. And again, it will go to your club organization's dashboard. The third thing I want to share today under activities is just below create new activities is to assign activities to groups. So this allows you to, again, look at your youth members. You can look at assigning activities to them. So you would select, if in this case, the club site in the demo this is the club site. You can look at all groups, or you can look at a particular group, or you can look at searching for a specific member, or you can select all. So again, it gives you that flexibility of, do you want a particular group that you've created in MyFuture that you want to assign the activities to? Do you want to look at it by age group? How do you want to assign those activities? Or is it a particular youth or teen in your program who is really advancing at a higher level? And this would just be for a much smaller group. So you want to just select those few members. So you can then look at assigning the activity, and it will go directly to those members that it has been assigned. And you'll be able to track when they complete and submit that activity at its completion. So with all of that, I know it is a lot of information all at one time, a lot of capabilities, but just wanted to give you, again, for us, the 3 quick ways of getting started would be that getting your membership base on MyFuture, for you as staff to log in, start familiarizing yourself with the platform, and then 3, start actually assigning those activities to your youth just to get started. And the more you use it, the more you'll become familiar and the easier it will be. But the reality is you can use MyFuture in any program area in Boys and Girls Clubs of America. So even just looking at one activity for a particular program to get started and really start building upon that, because the whole intent is you have access to engage your youth and teens in quality program content and high yield activities in the club and when they're away from the club. We can go back to the slides, Chrissy.
Thanks. And while I'm getting back to the slides, what questions do you all have for Lee about what she shared so far? I want to make sure if anyone has a question that we pause for that.
Yeah.
I have 2 actually.
Great.
The first one is, this is fabulous, thank you. But is there a way, so if we create the, so we create an activity in our that we have on our dashboard that anybody in our organization can access, is there a way that we can print a hard copy of that? So say we have, like, I've got school groups that don't have that maybe won't have immediate access to the MyFuture platform. Is there a way that we can print that off, or is that something like we would need to create in a Word document separate and then print it off that way?
No, it would be just like any of the MyFuture activities where it can be downloaded and printed. It would be in that format. So it is saved just like the activities that we create from BGCA. Once you've completed that and submitted it, it is there for you and you can download and print it and share it that way.
Awesome, thank you. And then the other one was, So if everybody is creating all these awesome activities, is there like a warehouse or a database that we could access other people's activities?
That is the best question, because that is really, I would say, in terms of future thinking on BGCA, is looking at knowing that in our club organizations, worldwide, there are amazing activities that are happening daily. So yes, this is a new feature. We honestly just launched this feature, I want to say in May, for staff to be able to add their own activities. Where we are going with that is, how do we at BGCA really look at reviewing and capturing that information, so that if it does seem like an activity that would be relevant and resonate with a large group of club organizations, that we could then go to you and say, we would like to publish this in our larger pool of activities and get that approval first. So I would say that is our future goal, and where we're headed with this.
Cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Other questions?
It's not really a question, but can you show an example of like your guys' club announcements page and how to effectively use it?
That is, I'm not, Chrissy, I don't know if you have more familiarity with that, or if I'm happy to go back in to the staff dashboard and take a look, but I am not an expert on that particular topic area.
Yeah, I don't have a club staff login for the club dashboard, so I'll stop sharing and go back to you. Or if you want to take a minute and come back to that question in a few minutes, we can do that too.
Let me, let's just go in and we'll take a look.
Find it.
Okay. All right. Oops, sorry about that. Now I'm losing. Okay, and I'm sorry, remind me of the question again.
For the club announcements.
The club announcements, yeah.
Club announcements. Okay, thank you. So I would imagine, if I had to guess, I was going to say my club homepage, which is where we are.
It could be in awesome things.
I was just thinking, yep. See if we can add. I'm not seeing where you can add it. Do you see it, Chrissy?
Not yet. I guess that's different from a blog post, probably.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is get that answer for you immediately today. If you don't mind just putting your email address in the chat, I can have a member of our MyFuture team who knows that side of the house a bit better than I do to be able to respond to you by email today. Because
that's a good question. I wanna learn that too. What other questions do you all have? Well, other questions are very much welcome on a rolling basis. I'll show you a little bit more about programming, but feel free to keep the questions coming in the chat, or I'll pause again and make sure we have a chance to ask out loud. Since we were also talking about educational programming on MyFuture, and specifically some of the great high-yield learning activities that support learning in the club, I wanted to touch on that for a minute. I just put a bit.ly link that's a quick overview of the chart that I'm about to show you, which is just how do some of our traditional Boys and Girls Club programs connect to the content that's on MyFuture. So if you've been in a club for a long time, then everything on the left probably looks very familiar to you, but you may not know about all the resources on MyFuture that are designed to complement those programs. And feel free to navigate to the MyFuture webpage and look around while I'm talking so that you can find some of these if you haven't seen them before. So Career Launch is one of our college and career readiness programs. You may not know that this year we launched the Roadmap to Careers tool on MyFuture, which helps connect young people to an assessment that could help them find some careers that might be right for them. It's got tons of great videos of people with a variety of very niche careers talking about what they do and what it takes to be in that field. So that's a great supplement there. Diplomas to Degrees is our main college readiness program. And in September, we're going to launch some Diplomas to Degrees content on MyFuture. So if you serve teens, stay tuned for that to go live in September. And then in October, we'll have an event around the FAFSA for financial aid. DIY STEM, beloved program for in-person hands-on STEM. And on MyFuture, we've got some great DIY STEM activities that I would say are a little simpler than the traditional targeted program. So if you've looked at the traditional DIY STEM and thought like, I don't know if I'm ready to build a lemon battery, or I don't know if I'm ready to launch a rocket, the DIY STEM activities on MyFuture can be accomplished in a shorter period of time with simpler materials. One of the insights coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on learning is that a lot of young people probably need some extra support with literacy. If you are serving teens and you're looking for a really engaging literacy program, Lyricism 101 is all about the art of the cipher and hip hop appreciation, but it's kind of an undercover literacy program. And you can access that on MyFuture as well, which is exciting because then young people can upload the projects that they're doing. So they can upload the songs they've written, they can upload the lyrics if they want to share and kind of broadcast their work. Money Matters for financial literacy, you can do the traditional program and there's a supplement on MyFuture. Similarly, Summer Brain Gain has some content on MyFuture. When Lee showed us the homepage, you may have seen a series of activities that featured different countries. That's the new Summer Brain Gain Around the World content. There's also STEM content, some literacy content. We just had a great Summer Brain Gain event all about Front Desk, which is a wonderful book about immigration and culture that I certainly recommend. Ultimate Journey, you can do in person or on MyFuture. Power Hour does not yet have any MyFuture components coming in the future. And then in the bottom of this column, these are 3 programs that only exist on MyFuture. So they're not on .NET. You can't download them as PDFs. So Media Making is really all about digital arts. It's got photo, video, audio production, web design. So if you have young people that are interested in graphic design, making movies, animation, producing music, remixing stuff, Media Making is for them. Computer science is the whole spectrum of computer science. You don't need to be a computer scientist to facilitate it. It starts with your first hour of code, but levels all the way up to real syntax-based coding. And then digital literacy essentials is where a lot of people start with MyFuture activities because you can do online safety, online privacy, but also some more advanced things like digital citizenship, media collaboration. So all about how to engage online. Any questions about those educational programs that are on MyFuture? Oh, but I do see, thanks for this one. Can you explain the point system and rewards? Lee, do you want to take that or do you want me to start with stars and badges and things?
If you can start with that, that would be great.
Okay, sure. So if you have heard of the concept of gamification, it's this idea that you can support motivation in lots of learning experiences, but certainly in online learning experiences by recognizing and rewarding young people for their progress and sort of gamifying the experience so that when you've completed a certain number of activities, you get stars. When you completed a set of activities, like if you were to complete all of the introductory computer science activities, you get a badge that kind of shows what you've done. So this is a way that recognition, which is one of our 5 key elements, is built into the MyFuture platform so that young people are automatically recognized for the work they're doing, for the progress they're making. there are also some rewards that exist beyond kind of the stars and badges in the form of contests. So when you go to the MyFuture homepage, one of the things that you'll see across the top banner is if there's a contest running, you'll see the way that young people can enter that contest and win prizes for themselves, for their club, as a way to further incentivize participation and engagement. And I'll say that you can add on to the recognition and reward system in whatever way you want. So the stars and badges are automatic, but if you wanted to say, for instance, any young person that earns 5 new points or 5 new, yeah, it's points now. Stars is old language. Sorry about that. 5 new points on MyFuture can be part of our Friday pizza party, or any young person that gets points in a program they've never participated in before gets to do this other thing. It's just a system that you can build into your club's recognition. Okay. So I want to ask us to take a couple minutes just to dive into the actual activities and find some things that might be a good fit for the youth that you serve. And so I want to encourage you to navigate to myfuture.net. And for now, just try to find 3 activities that you think your young people would really enjoy and would also learn from. And we'll take a minute to do that. And then I'm going to ask sort of this hive mind to come together. And if you could share, for instance, if you find a great activity and you say, I really loved this DIY STEM activity where they build the tiniest water slide ever, and I think this would be a good one for anyone else who has young people that like building things and creating things. Those kind of recommendations are welcome as you find them in the chat, or I'll ask everybody to share in just a couple minutes. So take a few minutes to poke around. We'll see you again soon. In case you didn't notice this earlier, I'll just call out that as you're looking for activities, you can filter by some of these things. So if you wanted to specifically say, show me DIY STEM activities, you could do that. Or if you go down to these program areas, you could say, show me everything that's related to college and education, or everything related to digital arts, just to help you with your searching. All right, you may or may not have already found 3, but I want to invite anyone who found an activity that you think your youth would enjoy and that they would learn from. If you want to share with the group, it would be great to hear. Oh, thanks, Lisa. So the personality test under Smart Girls, taste test under Healthy Habits, and the inclusive poet under leadership. Thanks. Anyone else find an activity or 2 or 3 that you would recommend to this group? Oobleck is fun, yes. If you've got a lot of slime fans, you can mix it up a little bit and talk about states of matter in a new way. Salty circuits is a good one too. I'll say, so another conversation coming out of COVID has been around math skills, just because for so many young people, participating in math class virtually was really challenging. And so if you're looking for ways that your club could support young people in some math skills without being like, sit down, it's time for math class, DIY STEM is a great option because a lot of math is integrated in a way that is just embedded in STEM. And then if you're looking for something different in summer brain gain, I was reminded of this, all of these ice cream, chocolate, butter activities are math activities, but math and cooking together. So that's a good option as well. Green screen, design challenge, personality test. Yeah, so I'm seeing some activities for media making. The design challenge is a really fun one that is, I like it because it's going to end up being culturally relevant because young people get to choose what they want to focus on and do something that's relevant to their community. So that's an activity you could really do in different contexts over and over to pursue small design projects. Great. Thank you all for sharing these. I know that life at the club is really busy. And so if this was the first time that you've kind of taken a moment to explore and see what some different activities on MyFuture might be that are good for your youth, I hope that you'll spend a little more time digging through it as well. Before we go, I want to make sure I share a couple other resources that are here to support you. One is, as we've mentioned, you can book a one-on-one consultation. If you want to have a consultation about MyFuture, a consultation about education, a consultation about anything else, this is the way to do it, to go to programbasicsplanner.com/back and pick a date and time that works for you. One other option, if you're looking for a network of other Boys and Girls Club professionals that are all focused on education, is to join the Education Learning Community. 2 links there for how you can do that. And then finally, there are so many great trainings. If you want to see the list of trainings that's specifically recommended for club staff that are focused on education, then that link to the education learning pathway is a quick way to do that. Oh, thanks, Willie, for adding these. Extracting DNA. I really like that one. You pull DNA out of a strawberry. Hip hop now and in the future. Great one from Lyricism, and dinner party price. Thank y'all. Lee and I can hang on for a few minutes if you've got any other questions that you want to ask, but otherwise, thanks so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great job, you guys.
Thanks for being here. And any other questions are still very welcome. Questions or recommendations?
I think that's it. I feel pretty confident moving forward, but I'll be scheduling some of those meetings or those webinars as well for the future. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming today.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
You too.
Bye.